What is up, everybody? It is Tuesday, September 19th at 6:45 p.m. I'm currently in Paris right now, about to head to volleyball practice. But I want to make this video for people, fellow Marines, I guess, fellow Marine officers who are thinking about getting out, who are unsure about, their next steps in their career, if they want to stay in, if they want to get a job right after, if they want to do an MBA. So I'm currently an MBA student at HEC Paris. I EAS'd out of the Marine Corps July 2023, and I started at HEC Paris in September. So had a couple months of just chill like summer break. It felt like summer break right after senior year of high school. But I just wanted to make this video for junior officers, lieutenants, captains thinking of getting out after their first tour or second tour, and are kind of exploring their options. It's not like a how-to, it's kind of just anecdotal, what I did getting out. So a bit of my background: I have a computer engineering degree, and then I did OCS juniors and seniors throughout college, and then I graduated college a year early. So after my junior year I graduated, and then I went to seniors, and then right after that I went to TBS, and then I became a supply officer, and I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan for 3 years before getting out. I decided to get out after just my 4-year contract because I was a PLCer, because I had the full GI Bill, and also I wanted to kind of explore a different career path other than my engineering degree and other than a career in the Marine Corps. So I went with HEC Paris just because I wanted more of that international exposure. I wanted to travel Europe. I've never been to Europe before, but in reality, I did handicap myself a little bit because I do want to get a job in America, but we'll talk about that later. If you're thinking about getting out and you think about getting an MBA, this is why you should do it. Do it now, do it early. If you're a first lieutenant and your EAS is coming up and you're on the edge, I recommend just doing it. Just pull the trigger and do it, because you don't want to regret staying in. Maybe you'll like it, but if you want to get out, really consider doing an MBA, because you have that GI Bill. If you're NROTC, I think you have to do like another 2 years, 6 years total. Or if you're academy grad, then I don't know how it works for you guys, but for people who do have the GI Bill is huge, and that's free money that you can use on grad school. So if not MBA, you can try going to med school, law school. The GI Bill is like free money, and especially with the yellow ribbon program, it could pay for almost all your tuition. On top of that, you get your BAH, or housing allowance, which is insane. Your living expenses are pretty much paid for while you are studying. So I think for me, foreign schools, there's no yellow ribbon program, but they still are probably going to give me around $2,000 a month for each month of study. And it is kind of different for foreign schools, so the schedule doesn't really line up, and there's probably more paperwork, but that's another story. Another reason to do it is to maybe do what I'm doing, to travel. I never would have gone to Europe if it wasn't for this MBA, so I'm taking advantage and kind of doing like a 2-year stint in Europe, just to, while you're young, might as well travel the world. And also, you should do it if you want to change or transition from your undergrad degree. So I had a computer engineering degree. I don't want to go back into tech or engineering or computer science after the Marine Corps, so I'm kind of using this MBA as a 2-year transition, as a way to kind of get into the finance sector. So I'm learning a lot about finance and business. But if you want to transition out of your undergrad degree, which a lot of people do because we were 18 when we decided that, so we really didn't know what we wanted to do in life. So an MBA could be a great way to do that transition. Another reason why you should pursue higher education is that veterans are, you're a veteran, and veterans are super marketable in these schools because they want that diversity on their campuses, and they want your experience. They want you to participate in class, and as veterans, we've experienced. Our experiences vary. I didn't do anything sexy. I was a supply officer in Okinawa. I guess Okinawa's kind of cool, but they just want everything we've learned from, OCS to TBS to our MOS schools to life in the fleet. It might not seem like super cool to you right now because you're surrounded by Marines every day, or you're surrounded by military personnel every day. But once you get out and you're surrounded by people who've been in, who have work experience in finance and consulting, they have no idea what Marines or military people do. So having you there in class is super valuable to other students. So that's why schools veteran applicants. And it is kind of competitive because there are a lot of junior officers applying to MBAs right now. So if you're trying to get into those top 7 business schools in America, it can be pretty competitive. I personally applied to Harvard and I got dinged. And I know people who've also gotten flat out rejected, and they were solid officers in the Marine Corps. So, we're veterans, we'll get in a little easier. So if you have a low GPA, if you didn't do well in undergrad, or if you feel you won't be qualified enough to get those top business school, get into those top business schools, don't worry about that as long as you ace your GMAT. And we'll talk about that later. All right, so reasons why you shouldn't get out and get an MBA or do higher education could be based on the market. So right now, the market might look pretty bleak. Consulting, investment banking, the finance sector, the market could crash. So, you kind of have to predict out the next 2 to 3 years, but it's not a huge factor because, unless you really want to do something, then I think you should be able to adapt in any type of market. And another reason that you shouldn't get out and get an MBA is if you actually see a career in the Marine Corps, or if you want to do another tour, or if you had a bad experience at your first tour, but you still super are moto and love the Marine Corps and want to do more years, then maybe getting out isn't the best option for you right now. And I mean, if it isn't, then you probably wouldn't be watching this video maybe. But yeah, just a couple of reasons why you should stay in. But if you are sure that you want to get out, here's some advice. I recommend that you start preparing now, and start really doing your due diligence about that transition process of actually getting out, because getting out isn't easy. Complete your TRS, your transition readiness seminar, do SkillBridge if you can. You got to plan almost a year out and start studying for your GMAT. You have to take a GMAT, which is the GRE, except for business school. And you need to do well on that because, just because you're a veteran is not going to give you a free ticket into these business schools. You got to study for that GMAT. Yes, you have to study while you're working full time. So it's a huge time commitment. And you also have to apply to business schools. And the application process is also long and kind of tedious. So start thinking about that. Start thinking about the timeline. And then in the application process, start thinking about letters of recommendations from your seniors or your staff officers. So I had recommendations from my company commander, and also my OPSO and /XO that I worked under, or who wrote my fit rep. And it's easier for us in the military because they want to see us succeed, and if you have a good relationship, they'll write you a pretty solid recommendation letter if you have a good relationship with them. And also plan out time to build your story, because recruiters or schools are going to have questions, and if your story isn't really solidified, then they might question how serious you are about getting an MBA, or how serious you are about actually finding employment after an MBA. But yeah, so far I'm loving it. If you have any more questions, please don't feel free to email me. I'm always happy to help other veterans. And if you want to see more videos, leave a comment of maybe things like GMAT prep, or if you want to see more details of the application process, or SkillBridge and medical for your VA claim as an officer, hit me up. I'm here to help. But yeah, I always told my Marines to use the GI Bill if they got out, and I am living that advice. So if you are on the edge of what to do next in life, I'm still lost in life. I hope this video helped, and I hope you choose to, get out and get an MBA, because life could be brighter on the other side. It's not bad. I'm living the dream right now. I'm a student. I'm chilling. So yeah, thanks for watching.